record and.
Sure. All right, well, welcome everyone. Team Clean, thank you so much for being here. So excited to have Eric Johnson, one of my favorite people, to really coach us for an hour. I have been using Teamzy for about 2 years now, and it honestly changed my life. When I started using it, like it blew up. Like I earned the trip to Washington with BeautyCounter, that like sort of when I started using it, because I was just so consistent and no one was falling through the cracks, and I just learned about the right way to build relationships and to follow up, because I think follow up is one of the things that most of us struggle with, because we're like, we don't want to be annoying. Like, how many times? What do we say? Like, how do we do it? And so I just learned. I did Eric's boot camp, did all the things, and then it's duplicatable. So when people join my team, when they're ready, I'm like, you need to know Teamzy. When they're starting to get a little overwhelmed with all their contacts, I'm like, you need Teamzy. So, and I loved it so much. I got to talk about it at our company convention last week, and just getting everyone hooked on it. So hopefully you got a few sales out of that, Eric, because I was telling everyone in the company to go for it. But Eric really has a heart of gold, and there's a reason why his business has taken off, because it's just, he cares, and he's doing this training for free. Like, he offered to do this, which is like amazing. So thank you, Eric. We are so excited to have you here.
My pleasure, man. You make it's easy to be excited to train your team when I get such a great introduction as that. So thank you very much. And I'm excited and humbled to be part of your personal journey over the last couple of years. Look forward to continuing as a part of your success story. So let me dive into this. Here's what we're going to do, you guys. I'm going to squeeze as much as I can possibly squeeze into this time we have together. So make sure you're ready to take notes. I apologize in advance if it feels like you are drinking water through a fire hose tonight. One thing I am going to do, Megan, is I'm going to make you an admin so that if people come into the waiting room, you can
sure.
You can let them in, because once I get started, I won't notice them. Okay, so let's dive in. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to show you Teamzy. I'll show you how to set it up. Some of you may already be using it, but I'll show you anyways. And then I want to teach you kind of the best workflows to do a power hour. And I think you guys will, even those of you who are using it, you'll probably learn a couple things through that. Before I show you the actual software app, let me first teach you just a little bit about relationship marketing. This is the philosophy and the system Teamzy's built on. You guys need to understand this, because it's more than just a system or an app to track your contacts and keep you organized. It's an approach. It's a heart to the business. Does that make sense? So I'm going to start out real quick with this. Let me see if this. Been having some issues with Zoom lately. Are you guys seeing my presentation?
Yep.
Okay, cool. And is there anything blocking the view of the slides?
No, not for me.
Okay, good. We're in good shape today then. Perfect. So here's the topic: systemize your success with relationship marketing to become a power hour boss. So power hour boss is one of our hashtags. That's what you guys are going to be at the end of this session. You should be able to do all of the business building activity in your business in an hour, right? And that's what Teamzy's been built to help you do, because then you can go live the rest of your life. Pretty cool, right? All right, let's dive in. So my backstory, for those of you who don't know me, though, I almost feel I don't even need to do this because Megan gave me such a great intro. But my background is not actually network marketing, though I have some experience there. I've been teaching and training and coaching people for 20 years on how to build a business based on relationships. About 7 years ago, I got involved with network marketing as kind of a side hustle. Does anybody have it as a side hustle? Yeah, it was kind of my side hustle. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of where I was at, I had this amazing job. I worked for a really large consulting and coaching company. I loved my job, but I was constantly working. I felt like, I know there's probably people who work more hours than me, but I never got to see my family. Here's me. Here's a shot of the family. Oh, I went too far. Here's a shot of the family. I never got to see my family unless they were in pajamas. I used to joke, my kids were in pajamas when I left for work, and they were back in pajamas when I got home from work. And I really felt like, you know what, if I don't change something, I'm not going to be here for their growing up. I'm just going to kind of be like the favorite uncle, right? Instead of their dad. And then the other piece was, I'd come home and and get the kids to bed. And then it's like, 45 minutes with my wife a day. It just wasn't what I wanted. I wanted something totally different for my life. And I'll be honest, I kind of wanted to make some more money. Can I get an amen on that one? I just wanted a little bit more income. We were dreaming about buying a new home, and I live in Southern California, so it's pretty pricey. And so anyways, I looked at network marketing. What an amazing business. You guys can start a business without investing anything. I mean, let's be honest. What your initial kit or whatever is stuff you're going to use. It's like zero investment. You're starting a business. You know how much it would cost to start a taco truck business? So it's an incredible opportunity to be able to build your own business. So I took a look at it as somebody who's a business consultant. It was a no-brainer. I said, wow, this is great. The corporate takes care of everything. All I have to do is share, sign people up, and the corporate takes care of everything. What a great deal. Because I remember network marketing as you fill your garage with stuff and try to sell it to your neighbors. That's the way it was when I was a kid. Do you guys remember that? Yeah, no, that's no fun. So I got started with my business. Now here was the challenge. I already don't have time for my kids, and now I started something new. How am I going to squeeze this into my day? Now I understood that this had potential. It had the potential of allowing me to be home with flexible income, be with my family more often, but I had to build it first. You understand where I'm coming from? So how am I going to do this? And I sat down with my wife, and she's the one who talked me into doing it. She was like, it's a no-brainer, honey, go do this. I looked at the calendar. I looked at what I did in a day, and I said, maybe I could spare 1 hour a day. And so I thought, okay, great. If I have 1 hour a day to build my business, how am I going to get everything done in that hour? So I started looking for tools to leverage my time. So long story short, there was no software, there were no tech, there was very little technology in our industry. And so I built Teamzy. Now it seems like there's a lot of technology in our industry, and it still doesn't do what you need to build the business, which is why there's only one Teamzy. It still doesn't tell you who to connect with, when to connect with them, and how to stay in touch with people, right? It shows you how to like share links and stuff. That's not the point. It's building relationships. So we launched Teamzy just a little over 5 years ago, actually. This says under 5 years. It's just over 5 years now. But in that time, we've had more than 150,000 network marketers use Teamzy, which is amazing and humbling. It all started with a text. I texted 20 people I knew and said, take a look at this thing I just built. And then it just kind of spread. And just so you guys have an idea of what kind of results people are getting with Teamzy, active users are averaging 21 new customers and 9 new recruits over 90 days. 21 new customers and 9 recruits over 90 days. Now, just to be clear, I always quote a 90-day result, because this business takes a little time to build up the relationship and conversations, right? So I always quote 90 days over 90 days. So let's get into this relationship marketing concept. What is relationship marketing? What is relationship marketing? I actually had somebody in my bootcamp group today say, I've been in relationship marketing for 30 years. And then he put in parentheses, network marketing. Not the same thing. Not the same thing at all. Okay. Just want you guys to understand, relationship marketing is a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. It's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. It's not an abstract feel-good concept. Oh, relationships, it's great. We're going to hold hands. We're going to try on this new skin cream together, right? It's not an abstract thing. This is a proven system. It's a proven system. We follow it. We always know what to do next, right? We always know what to do next. My very first job, when I was 14 years old, I worked in a Burger King restaurant. And anyone ever do something like that? And they have a system for everything. They actually, because I was 14 and I was kind of young, they actually had footprints painted on the floor where they wanted me to stand. Teamzy's not quite that much, but it's like that. It's like there's no mystery. You know exactly what you need to do with whom and when, and the business succeeds. Make sense? Also, relationship marketing is a lead generation system. It's a lead generation system. That's a system that initiates consumer interest or inquiry into the products or services of a business. I know it's a mouthful, but you need to understand you're more than salespeople for BeautyCounter. You are the owners of the business. Make sense? And the business owner's job is to generate leads for the business. And so you have to decide, which system will I use? What system will I use? Do you want to use the go for no system, which we'll talk about and I'll make fun of in a minute? Or do you want to use a system like relationship marketing, which we're going to present to you right now? You need to understand as business owners, you are in the lead generation business. That's your business. What business are you in? Lead generation, finding new people, finding interest, getting people interested. Make sense? Okay. But here's the good news. Here's the good news. Next principle, developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. Developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. So our job is to meet new people and build relationships with them. Can you guys do that? Meet new people, build relationships with them. Oh, and the people we already know, go deeper with those relationships, deepen those relationships. That's it. And if you focus as a business owner on meeting people and building relationships, you're going to be doing great. And why am I focusing on building the relationship and not focusing on developing a sale or recruit? Because the relationships were so much more. Okay. Because what we do with relationships is we turn them into advocates. We turn relationships into advocates by investing time and providing outstanding service. This is a huge concept, and I don't have too much time to dig into it tonight. I'm just going to kind of leave it for you guys to ponder. When you talk to people and say it's not for them, you know, this business is not for them, maybe even the products are not for them, they can still be your advocate. They can still be so impressed, so excited about the mission you're on that they feel it compelled to share it with other people. In fact, I will tell you that in my business, actually in all the businesses that I've ever had, I've had, quote, not customer advocates who brought me tons of business. And so as we share this tonight, you guys, I want you to think about every time you're talking to somebody, not just will you be interested in BeautyCounter, but could you be interested in what I'm doing and how I'm trying to change lives and help people? Because you will be amazed at how many people want to help you in your business, even if they don't actually purchase something. Make sense? And this is where people with the go for no philosophy miss out, because they throw those people away that say no. They chuck them like a dead body over their shoulder and keep going to, right? Oh, they said no, they're gone. Delete them off my list, keep moving. If you focus on the relationship, the business blooms in all directions. Next, relationship marketing depends on trust. Relationship marketing depends on trust. In other words, if you're a jerk, this ain't gonna work. And a lot of what we're taught in our industry, I guess it's kind of harsh to say it's like jerky. Is that a thing? Jerky is actually a food, right? But you know what I mean. But it definitely doesn't quite feel genuine. You guys relate to that? I mean, some of the things that we're taught to do or told to say or scripts that we're given, and they're kind of like, that just not quite right for me. Relationship marketing depends on trust. We need to be authentic. We need to be ourselves. We need to be open. We need to be upfront with people, because otherwise we'll violate the trust. Make sense? And then this won't work. Now, here's the good news. Trust makes the work fun. If people trust you even just a little bit, you don't have to sell them or convince them. You get right to helping them. You get right to helping them. Also, trust removes the ickiness from the sales process. How many of you are like me and you worry about being seen as the icky salesperson? That's me. I never want to be the icky salesperson. And by the way, I hate rejection. I hate rejection. I hate rejection. So trust removes the ickiness from the sales process. Nobody feels icky. You build trust and you just have great conversations with people, and you get to go for yes. You get to go for yes. You don't have to go for no and deal with this concept of there's going to be tons of rejection in this business. Just thicken up your skin. I went to a network marketing conference once where they handed out T-shirts that had a rhinoceros face on the front, and they said you got to have skin thick like a rhinoceros. I'm like, heck no, not me. My skin is thin. I don't deal with rejection. I'm just going to treat people well. Makes sense, you guys? And this works. I'm telling you right now. The great thing about relationship marketing, I've been teaching relationship marketing for 20 years, and we've never missed a meal. It's been good eating all the way along because it works. Okay, how to build trust. I'm going to give you 4 essential ingredients to building trust, so that you kind of have an idea of some things you can be doing in your business. And then I'll show you how to use Teamzy to leverage all the stuff I'm teaching you. So here they are, 4 essential ingredients to building trust. I'll go through them quickly and then I'll explain them out. Number 1 is chemistry. Number 2 is character. Number 3 is competence. Okay, and number 4 is consistency. Chemistry, character, competence, consistency. You guys got those? Okay, great. So chemistry is creating a connection with someone. Chemistry is creating a connection with someone. Where do you have common ground with them? What is it about you they can relate to? This is important. I just want to give you guys a real basic concept. People want to do business with friends. People want to do business with friends. And so you need to connect. So spend some time building rapport, connecting, finding ways to connect, ask questions, find out what you have in common. Make sense? That's step one. Number two is character. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you are relatable. Now, notice something about this definition. We often think of character as like, if you look at my life, I've done more good things than bad. I'm a person of good character, right? That's not true, at least not from my perspective. Character is not something you have. Character is something you do. And it doesn't matter what you've done. It matters how you're demonstrating care right now. Does this make sense? Character has to be a choice every single day. And it's the number one most important part of your brand. People want to do business with a friend who has good character. Make sense? And again, character is showing other people that you care about them. So think about all the ways that you show up in the world on social media. Are you posting things that show your care for the people that are reading your posts? Are you showing up out in the world as a caring person? Are you taking care of others? Are you treating people well? Do you tip well? Do you return the shopping carts to the cart returns at Target? Like all these little things add up, right? I always joke, do you drive with consideration for others on the highway? Right? These are important ways to show our character, especially if you've got a BeautyCounter sticker or something on your car, right? You want to make sure that you are treating people well. This all makes, it all makes a big difference. Does it make sense? Years ago, I did, helped plan a real estate conference at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. And it was a huge conference. Well, it was huge for us. We had about 6,000 people paid to come to this conference. And Disney, they were amazing. They will do anything you want. They never say no to a customer. It's kind of cool. But they do charge you a lot of money for everything they do, but they never say no, right? They'll do anything. But one of the things I thought was really interesting about Disney, have any of you worked at Disney or had friends who worked at a Disney theme parks? So they don't call you an employee, they call them cast members. And they have this philosophy that they're always performing on stage. As long as they're working, they're performing on stage. They're cast members. And they have to assume someone's watching them, even if they think they're alone and like they want to scratch their nose or something. Like somebody's watching you, you're on stage. And so they have this kind of philosophy. Does this make sense? And this is how I want you guys to show up as far as character. Somebody's always watching. Make the conscious choice to show up as someone who constantly cares for others. And you'll be amazed how the business grows and how people respect you. Does this make sense? Okay, number 3 is competence. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. The first piece is, do you know about your products? Can you help me with the problem I have? Because sales is about helping people identify problems and then solving them for them, right? So are you confident? This is my problem. Can you solve it? Make sense? So many people will send you a link and say, browse my shop, see what you want. It's like, what? Right? What do you mean? How does that help me? Can you imagine if you weren't feeling well and you called your family doctor and the nurse comes on and says, oh, you're not feeling well? Okay, well, I'm sure we have something that can help you. Why don't I send you a link and it'll show you all the medicines that we sell here in the practice, and you decide what you think you need and place an order or two. Can you imagine? It sounds silly, right? But that's what we do in our business. People need help. They need you to identify the problem, help them solve it, give them specific recommendations. Does it make sense? The second piece is, so if I want to be your customer, I need to know that you know what you're doing enough to help me solve my problem. Number 2 is, why should I join your team? Do I believe you're a business person who can lead me in this to be successful? How are you showing up? Are you demonstrating these things to people? Are you demonstrating your confidence? Are you demonstrating your product knowledge? Are you demonstrating all of the things you've learned since you've joined this company? And some of this we need to do. We just need to do it. We need to start telling people. We need to put it in your stories. You need to post it on social media and tell people, oh my gosh, I just learned this. Did you know what this chemical does? And it's in everything except our products. Did you know, right? That kind of stuff. I mean, you guys are experts, not me. I'm assuming, but I'm just giving you examples. You need to start showing people, why should I join your team? How have you been successful? Meghan said at the beginning when she introduced me, I did Teamzy and I got to go to that trip to Washington. Well, there's a great way she demonstrated her competence. She won a trip. She won a free trip because of her performance in the business. So there's things like that you share that show people that you're competent, because some of your, it's like your friends, your family, your cousins, they've seen you with your pants on backwards. They don't think of you as a business pro, maybe not in the beginning. Does it make sense? They need to see, oh, wow, look at that. Look how well she's doing. Look at what she's doing. Does that make sense? And I know that you don't do, I know there's, legal things you can't say, but you can let people know milestones. Oh my gosh, I just won this free handbag this month. How cool. Or, I got in my case, I won a handwritten card from the CEO of the company because I had such a big month, the month I launched Teamzy. And I got this card and I showed it up, I was like, look at this. I got a letter from the CEO of the company. What a great month they had. How can you demonstrate your competence? Does it make sense? As you grow in your success, as you grow in your success, this becomes known, which is why it gets easier and easier to recruit people and bring them to your team. It gets easier and easier and easier, are you guys cool with that? It getting easier? You don't get to stop, by the way. You don't get to stop, but it does get easier. There's no such thing as passive income. How many of you guys are here for passive income? There's no such thing as passive income. There is exponential income. Is that cool? Exponential income, but you can't be passive. You have to be working on your business, just so you guys know, but it can grow and grow and grow. Okay, before I jump to number 4, there's a principle behind these that I just want to teach you really quick, and then we'll jump to number 4. When somebody's thinking of doing business with you, they really only care about 3 things. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? Now, here's the thing. Again, this one principle, I could spend an hour training on just this, but I'm just going to kind of give you guys the quick synopsis on this. If somebody believes, yes, I can trust you. Yes, you care about me. Yes, you're good at what you do. They're your advocate. They'll tell everybody they should do business with you. If they think no is the answer to any one of these, they'll never do business with you. Okay. If they have done business and now they think it's a no, they'll stop doing business. Also, people who think one of these is a no will likely tell others not to do business with you too. How many of you guys are good at writing Yelp reviews and reviews on Amazon and stuff? How many of you are good at writing them when you're super pissed off at somebody? Right? Isn't it true? Isn't it true? I mean, I very rarely go in there and go 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. The only time I feel really compelled is when somebody's really wronged me. And that's the way a lot of people are. So if there's a no, you're going to get some negativity. Now, here's the thing that's kind of interesting about this. Maybe they think it's probably yes. They're just not sure yet. Then, which is where most people will be at first. That's going to be somebody who raises objections and asks a lot of questions. Okay. And objections are a great thing. Objections are a way of somebody being friendly about saying, I'm not really sure about these 3 things. Can I trust you to care about me? Are you good at what you do? So let me just kind of throw some questions up and see how you handle them. I feel like objections are somebody saying, it's kind of like, I'm about to give you the sale. I just need you to do one more thing. Make sense? It's a good thing. So don't get freaked out by objections, but understand where it is. It means that your relationship's not there and the trust isn't that solid yet. You have to keep building that relationship and investing in that person. Okay. Next thing is consistency. This is the most important part about building trust, being consistent. Beware somebody who says, trust me, right? Because they haven't demonstrated their trust. You need somebody to be consistent. This attracts people to you. It brings people to you. It's so funny. I have an 11-year-old son, and the other day he said something to me, and then he said, Dad, I swear. I said, buddy, don't say I swear. He goes, why? I go, because that's what liars say. Liars say I swear. It's a way of somebody who lies all the time saying, this time I'm not lying really, but I'm acknowledging that I normally lie. He goes, when you're an honest person who stands by their integrity, you don't have to tell people you swear. You don't have to ask people to trust you. They already will. Does it make sense, you guys? Some of you are like, wait a second. Somebody just told me, I swear today. Well, look into that person. I'm telling you right now, there's some stuff going on. Consistency, consistency. Now, I love this principle. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. What does this mean? It means not only does being consistent build trust, which is key, but also people want to be around people who are consistent. They're attracted to you. And this is part of the attraction marketing of your business is wow, look at this person and look at how they've kind of pulled themselves together. They've started this business. They're being consistent with it. They're doing great. And like, I kind of want to be around that. Does that make sense? How many of you guys just love, you fell in love with BeautyCounter, but now you just love being part of the team, right? And the team, that dynamic of the team, a lot of times it's this, it's like, here's a group of people who are different than everyone else I know. Here's people striving to be consistent, to build something together. Make sense? It draws us to each other. So being consistent not only builds trust, but it helps build your team too, which is pretty awesome. Okay, so let's talk real quick about consistency. And if you guys are there and your cameras are off and you're dressed, pop them on for just a couple minutes because I want to talk to you guys for a second. I like to see your faces. How many of you are consistent products of your product? You use the products and you're all about them and it's what you do. Everybody, right? Hopefully. That's why everybody has that baby-like skin on this call. See, how many of you are consistent on social media, sharing your journey, sharing what you're doing? Like people actually know that you do BeautyCounter. Got a few of these, which is okay. Well, there's a note, right? We got to be consistent with these things. You don't have to be spammy or annoying. You just got to be consistent, right? Just got to be consistent. And Megan can give you guys some tips that she learned in my boot camp about how to post great content that's relevant without being annoying, right? Without being spammy. Here's the question that really matters though. Zig Ziglar used to call it the checkup from the neck up. How many of you are consistent about staying in touch with the relationships, people you know, the people you're connected to? This is the key to the business, is being consistently in touch with people. Okay, and I'm going to explain this to you guys in a second. But relationships are the key to the business. The number of people you know and the quality of relationships you have with them creates all the momentum in your business, besides it making your life incredibly rewarding, right? Especially after the year we've just been through, right? I live in California, so we really got locked away over here. Wait, where'd I go? Teamzy. No, I'm not on Teamzy. I'm on this one. Okay. So popping back into this real quick, let's talk about this. If you want to build relationships, you got to be in contact with people. You got to be in contact with people. Now, if you hired me as a consultant and said, Eric, how do I become the top rep in BeautyCounter? How do I blow this thing up? How do I go crazy with this business? I would say it's easy. We just need to stay in regular contact with every single human being you know. And then we need to meet some new people every day. You have time for, how many of you guys have time for that? That sounds overwhelming, depending on how many people you're connected to, right? I know your time is scarce. That's okay. That's why I built Teamzy, to make it really easy so you can do it in a short amount of time, right? But I want you guys to get this principle. This is the big principle. And then we're going to dive into Teamzy. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. And, you know, I might even, I need to edit this to say investing time and connecting personally with people, because I think I need to clarify that. Personally with people. Now, let me just give you a quick example. Keep your cameras on for a second, and then you can go back and make a sandwich after this piece. How many of you have ever received a card or a letter from somebody that you love with the handwritten message in it? Not just what the card comes printed with, but the handwritten part, that when you read it, it was like, oh my gosh, you got you right in the heart. Yeah. Okay. If you haven't, Maggie, I know you're driving, so you don't have to do this, but I know you guys, if you haven't, just put your address in the chat and we're going to write you one tonight, because everybody needs to have at least one great card like that, right? That you want to keep. Okay. The next question is, did you keep it? Do you still have that card somewhere? Do you have a place where you saved it? How many of you guys have a special stash, a stack of cards, or a drawer box full of these cards, right? That you can't bear to throw away. We just recently, just a little over 2 years ago, we moved into our home, and I had all these boxes of cards and letters that we had received, and it was like, you want to just purge, right? But you can't. So we moved them. We kept them, of course. And what's amazing is that after you pass on, often your family will treasure those cards and letters more than anything else. In fact, does anybody have a card or letter from a loved one who's passed that you've kept? Isn't it amazing how we treasure those things? Now, real quick, here's another example. Check this out. Have you guys ever received one of these? This is a happy birthday card. It's a little postcard that I got from my life insurance salesperson. Do you guys ever get these from people like the dentist, yeah? Oh, well, you guys aren't doing business with the right life insurance salespeople. But here's the question for you. When you get these postcards, do you keep these in the special place? No, of course not. You throw these away instantly, don't you? They go, in fact, if you look at mine, it's kind of beaten. It's had water spilled on it. It's like, because, it's just here for me to make fun of, and it's slowly getting destroyed. I'm not taking good care of it. Why does this little happy birthday postcard not have the same impact that the handwritten message has? Now let's just talk about it for a second, because this is illustrating this principle. If you want to deepen a relationship, you invest time and you connect personally with someone. This requires zero investment of time, so we put zero value on it. We do not value something that somebody spent no time on. Make sense? It's kind of like when we were in school, and if you don't put any effort into your work, the teacher's like, it's an F. You didn't put any time into this. Make sense? We don't value something with no time invested. And this is also a bulk mailing. It's not personal. So it's a double whammy. Not personal, no investment of time. We put no value on this. Now, this is important because there's a lot, and Meghan and I were joking about these people that tried to copy Teamzy since we launched and then went out of business. Because you can try to do marketing that looks personal, but people know the difference. Does this make sense? And there's lots of people out there selling, the sexy term is automated marketing. Doesn't it sound so good? Automated. Man, you don't have to do anything. You just pay for it and it goes. And this is what automated marketing looks like in practicality. This is what it's like to receive automated marketing. It's like, oh, that was nice. Right? It's a totally different level of impact. Now, the handwritten card, they'll probably keep it forever. It's interesting. Just a quick story, and I go off on these little tangents. I'm sorry. Some people tell me they like the tangents best. So when I worked for the same company for like 8 years, I was totally in love with the company. And then when the big recession hit in 2009, I got laid off, and I had to go find work. Did anybody have to go through that? It was brutal. And I had kids, and I was freaked out that I wasn't going to be able to provide for them. And so as I'm going to interview for these jobs, I'm writing notes. Thank you for seeing me, writing people personal notes. And I ended up getting a great job for, I was there for almost a year before my old company called me and said, we're making money again, come back. But when I left my exit interview, when I went in for my exit interview with the HR director, I noticed on her desk was the note card I had written her a year earlier, thanking her for the interview. She had kept it on her desk for a year. As far as I know, it's still on her desk. That was in 2000. That was 2010. It might still be on her desk. I don't know. Maybe. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so let's just talk about what we do with Teamzy. We're gonna connect with people. We're gonna invest time in one-on-one connections with people. And though we've built Teamzy to make it efficient for you, so it only takes a few seconds, it has an impact like you spent a lot of time. Does this make sense? And it's still personal. And so I'm going to show you guys how you can easily stay in touch with, a pretty large group of people. Let's say you have 5,000 relationships you want to maintain. You can maintain 5,000 relationships by spending 1 hour a day in Teamzy. How cool is that? It's so cool, right? So let me just dive back in here real quick. I think I have one more slide and then we'll jump into Teamzy and I'll show you how it works. I'm starting to lose my voice. I might have to sing some rock and roll songs at the end. It's getting hoarse. So that's the big principle. Investing time, connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Just remember that, you guys. But you got to have a system. The philosophy is great. You got to have a system to it. You got to have a way to stay in contact with all your relationships. Know when to contact them, right? Know what to say. And so you don't stare at your screen going, what do I say? Anybody do that? That was me for a long time. It took me a while to figure it out. And make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. This is huge. This is huge. Okay. Let's get out of here and go to Teamzy. So how many of you guys are already using Teamzy at some level? Okay. We get just a couple. Perfect. So first off, I want you guys to know you go to teamzy.com and you can start a free trial, right? You can try it out for free, which is really cool. And when you go in and start your free trial, there's going to be a lot of different versions. Make sure you choose the BeautyCounter version so that you have the version that's made specifically for you. Okay. And so once you do that, I'm going to walk you through what the setup looks like really quick. I have it set up here on my screen. When you first log in, you're going to see me. And there's a little video for me. You can watch that. I won't make you watch it tonight. And the first thing we're going to do in setup is we're going to set your income goal. How much would you like to be earning in your business a year from now? Okay. Now you can see if you can slide this little slider up or down, depending on what your goal is. Now, my goal was 150,000. So let me put it right there. 150,000. That was my goal. That was my salary that I was trying to replace with my business so I could be home with my family, right? So I could leave my job. By the way, full disclosure, I jumped out of my job by the time I hit about 50K. I was like, that's good enough proof of concept. I'm out of here, suckers. And I got to be home raising my kids, build my businesses. It's all good. Sometimes you got to take a leap of faith, right? And some of you may, I don't know, Megan, did I ever tell you a story about my shed in the backyard? Where I started Teamzy in a shed, the kind you put your lawnmower in, wooden shed with no insulation, with an extension cord to plug in my computer. It was awesome. So anyway, so once you set your goal here, wherever you put it, you can see it changes what you need to do each day. So it tells you exactly what to do. So at $150,000 a year goal, I need to be connecting with 9 prospects every day, 6 customers and 4 consultants, 19 people a day. Now that comes out to almost 5,000 people by the end of the year. Cool, right? All right, let's go ahead and continue to the next thing. I spent too much time talking, so let me refresh my page. I guess they don't expect it would take you like 3 minutes to do that. All right, next step, we're going to get all your contacts into Teamzy. This is important because you want to be organized. You don't want to be writing people down on sticky notes anymore, okay? Or digging through your phone. Where did I meet that person? Was it Instagram? Was it Facebook? Do I have their contact information? Oh my gosh. You guys relate? You need to have all your contacts in one place, organized. This is a business. This is a business. And so Teamzy lets you do that. It's cloud-based. You have access to it at all times. You meet somebody, you pull out your phone and you put them in Teamzy. You don't put them somewhere else. Make sense? Put them in Teamzy, you have them. The other thing that it does, which is kind of magical, and I'll show you in a second, besides having them all in one place, it has an algorithm that makes sure you stay in contact with everybody. Nobody falls through the cracks. I'll show you guys that in a minute. So we'll get all your contacts in, then we're ready to launch our Teamzy. So here's the Teamzy dashboard, okay? And you guys can see, let me just minimize some of the stuff so you can see what we're talking about. And this is the BeautyCounter version. We need to have a place called Beauty County where you guys can go so that I can keep saying that, right? Does it make sense? Okay. So check this out. Today's activities right here, this band right here. This is what we need to get done today. We need to connect with 9 prospects. Now you can see I've got 0 done. I need to connect with 6 customers and 4 consultants. What do I mean when I say connect? This is mega important. I don't mean sending them a cheesy sales script. I don't mean calling them because nobody likes to have their phone ring unexpectedly anymore. Have you noticed that? Right? It's like, who's calling me? Leave me alone. Well, now my phone just says spam risk across the top constantly. What I mean by connecting with people is I mean, I want you to reach out and make their day. I want you to make their day. That's it. I call it the make someone's day mindset. Just focus on making their day. Okay, just making their day. And when our focus is on making people's day, not only is doing a power hour super fun, but they will respond. Most of them will respond. And when people respond and you've made their day and they've got a smile on their face, now you have a chance to actually talk to them, have a conversation. Does it make sense? And I'm going to kind of walk you guys through that as we go. But this is so cool because you get to go through and make people's day. So That's what we're going to do with prospects, customers, and consultants. Then I've got a goal to share 3 times. A share, just really simple, because people are like, what about this? What about this? What about this? For me, it's simple. There's 2 things that count as a share. Did you share a product solution with somebody? Did you share the business with somebody? Everything else is a great conversation. Those are shares. So we had a great conversation. You're like, oh my gosh, I have this problem. Great. I have this solution. Here's some products I think you should try to do that. That's a share. Or, you know, you're doing amazing. What are you up to? Yeah, let me show you what we're doing. Are you interested in learning more about it? That's a share. But does it make sense? Okay, so that my goal is to do that 3 times a day. So I'm going to start 19 conversations, but my goal is only to share 3 times, because it's not always appropriate to share. Does it make sense? You cannot give us, yeah.
Sorry, ask something about the share. So if someone, I put it in a share if I get them to a third-party tool, like if I get them to that stage where they want to learn more,
yeah,
and give them a third-party tool, that is it. That's the share, right?
Yes.
Not just asking someone, but there's, yes, I want to learn more.
Yes. Yes. And I'll go through an example in a minute. But if I said, yeah, Megan, let me know if you ever like to learn more about BeautyCounter, and you said, okay, I will, that's not a share. If you said, yeah, I would like to learn more, great, let's jump on a FaceTime or a Zoom right now and talk more about it. Now you're sharing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything else is kind of the setup for the share, which is why we're aggressively going for 3 a day, not 20 or something like that. And then we've also got ads. This is adding new people to Teamzy. So these are our daily goals. I want you guys to understand, in this situation, my goal was to make 150,000. If I can consistently nail this goal for a year, you'll see me getting there. Does this make sense? So the activity breeds the results. Now, staying consistent is not easy. It takes work, takes effort, takes energy, but you can get there. And that's where I was saying that people were doing 21 customers and 9 recruits for 90 days. Those are people that are using it consistently. Make sense? Okay, so let me show you how this works in effort. Just real quick on this though, you notice that we've set an annual goal for a year, but we're telling you only what to do today. That's because if you want to have a business that's big, let me see who wants to have a business that's big. If you want a business that's big, you have to have a focus that's small. You have to have a focus that's small. You have to focus on today. Today's the only day we have. Today's the only day we have. Okay, so here's how to do this. I'm going to scroll down to where it says Power Hour. You guys see this? This is the magic. Now, keep in mind, Teamzy is a CRM, and if you know what that is, great. If you don't, no big deal. That means contact relationship management software. And that means that Teamzy has all your contacts, all their information, you know, their dog's name, their favorite Starbucks drink, like whatever info you keep, skin type, whatever you want to know about them, you're going to keep all that on their contact record. What the Power Hour does is it tells us who to reach out to today. So you don't have to think about it. So let's say you have 5,000 people in Teamzy, great. It's telling you the next 5 people to message. Okay, and it does this on a really simple system. You see those numbers next to their names? We give them a star rating, just like Yelp or Amazon or whatever, right? 5 stars is awesome, 1 star, not awesome. You guys get that? Okay, now the stars, what the stars do is they manage how often you talk to somebody. So if they're a 5-star, they're going to come up first, and they're going to come back automatically every month. Every 30 days, they come up on your list to reach out again. 4-star people will come up after the 5s, and they come back every 60 days. 3-star people come back every 90 days, and so on. So 3-star people, I'd say probably 80 to 90% of your list will be 3-star people. You'll reach out every 3 months. Your best people will be 5 stars. Does this make sense? And so what it does is it cycles people through so you stay in touch based on the level of relationship you have with them, but you're also not like a stalker. Makes sense? Okay. And so you don't have to think. You come in here to do your Power Hour, you reach out to whoever's up next. So you can see, I've got right here, let me just slide this down a little so I can get to my tabs. First person on my list is Jay. I need to send her a message. My goal is just to make her day. Now, this is where I used to struggle. What am I going to say? And when we first launched Teamzy, everyone was like, you know, Eric, you do these trainings and you make it sound so easy. And then I get there and I stare at my screen. So after a couple of years, I added all my scripts into Teamzy. So all of my scripts are in here for you to use. Okay, so let me just show you how to do this. See right here where it says scripts. I'm going to click on that. and just grab a script for whatever platform you want to send it on. So I'm going to use Facebook because we're Facebook friends. And you can see I've got a bunch of scripts I can choose from. So the first one just says, hi, Jane, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome. Okay, super simple. I'm going to grab that. By the way, this little script works so well. So what I'm doing is I just grabbed it. Now I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm going to, so that I can edit it a little bit, right? Because Jane's just kind of like a placeholder name. I need to put the right name in. Okay, and maybe maybe an emoji. Oops, double clicked it. Come on, Mackie. I use a Mac, so sometimes it's persnickety with me. Oh, there we go. So put an emoji. I don't know, whatever one. I clicked it and I'm just waiting for the computer to catch up with me. That's weird. It's frozen. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, good. Well, you get the idea. You're going to add an emoji. Watch when I finish, it'll show like 20 emojis because I hit the button like 20 times. However you want to customize the script, great. Once you have it ready, you're just going to copy this and then go send it. So I'm going to send it on Facebook because that's where we're friends. So I'm just going to look up Jay. Oh, look, now it wants to do emojis. There we go. Look her up. There she is. I'm going to send her a message. Okay. And so I'll just paste that message in there and send it. Okay. So it's sent. So then we'll just log this in Teamzy. That was a Facebook message, and click the big blue log connect button. So it's tracked as we go. So this tells me connect with Jay. Scripts told me what to say. I put my message here and log it. Now what happens is you notice that Jay's off the list. She's now cycled through. She'll come back on my list in 30 days. So as soon as I log that connect, it resets her clock for 30 days. She'll come back in 30 days. Now she may respond and we may message back and forth. And that conversation may lead somewhere. It may fizzle out. If it fizzles out, no big deal, because she's coming back in 30 days. Does this make sense? Okay. And I'll show you what to do when it doesn't fizzle out in a second. So the next person on my list is Meghan. We're going to send her a message. I'm going to use the same message still on my clipboard, paste it in there and change the name. Okay. So easy. Great. And Meghan, you're from Australia originally, right? See, they like to say awesome too, which is great. You can use all my scripts because I love the word awesome. But it's funny because when I do trainings with teams in the UK, they're like, we don't say awesome. I'm like, just say great then. I don't care. Like, you're overthinking, right? Just say, have a great day. Have a mediocre day, whatever it makes you happy. There she is. So we're going to paste that script in there. Boom. Meghan just stopping by to say hello. How are you? Hope your day is awesome. Boom. Send. Okay. Log it. Keep moving. Look at now. I'm going to scroll up a little so you can see this. I've got 2 done. See this little blue circle filling in? This is my visual cue that I'm making progress. I'm just going to work my way down this list of prospects now, sending the message. I'll probably send the same script for efficiency's sake. And when that circle's blue, I'm done with prospecting for the day. Okay. And so then when that happens, I go to the next list, which is customers. And we do it the exact same way. Whoever's up next, just message them. So look, Tessa's up next. I'll go to my scripts and I'll grab a script to message Tessa. Okay. Here's a fun one. Congratulations on great results. You're doing great. Proud of you. Congratulations on. Do you guys have customers who get great results? Yeah, congratulate them. I also love this. You know, you can also do regular connects with them, just like we were doing, you know, like stop by to say hello. That's cool. I love this one. This is a great one. If you're not sure what to say to a customer, you don't have a strong relationship, you know, check in. How are you enjoying the products? And then put in what they bought. How are you enjoying them? Please send me an update. Let me know how I can be of help. It's a great way to re-engage somebody. My favorite one is this one though. Hi, Jane, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Have you guys used this one? Anyone? People will usually respond, you just made my day with your message, which is what you're after, right? So you guys see how easy this is? Boom, it's ready to go. Now, real quick on this, we got to talk about customers. Staying in touch, regular contact with customers is so crucial. It's super crucial. Now, I've talked to many people in this business, because this business is focused on, building teams, a lot of leaders don't really talk to their customers ever, right? They just don't. And I remember one time I was talking to a leader. She had, we were talking about Teamzy, and she says, I have 9,000 customers, past and present, that I don't talk to. And I was like, oh my gosh. I said, well, how are you building how are you still growing your team? She's like, I'm on Instagram meeting people all the time. I go, so you spend all your time meeting people who don't know you when you have 9,000 people who've already given you money. That doesn't make any sense. Somebody who has bought something, even if it was a lip balm, they trust you enough to buy something from you. They're worth 1,000 new people on Instagram. You guys understand this? It's all about trust, remember? So let me just kind of explain to you what happens when you're in regular contact with customers. When you're in regular contact with customers, past or present, by the way, if they're not ordering now, it doesn't matter. They're still your customer. When you're in regular contact with customers, statistically, they order more product and they retain longer. Okay? They order more product and they retain longer. If you guys can do this, you will increase the average value of your customer over time, and you can teach your team to do the same. And people will go, how is she doing mega volume when her team is half the size of mine? That's how. Does this make sense? And guess what? Your customers love buying more products. Think about like going to an amazing meal and everything's great and the service is amazing and the servers are present. Like, don't you buy more stuff? You get that wine glass refilled. You might go for dessert. Like, you're buying more stuff because they're upselling you and they're increasing your experience. And then you leave going, that was awesome. That's the way your customers are too. So they're going to buy more and retain longer when you're in regular contact with them. I'm telling you guys right now, those of you not using Teamzy, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I've got a bunch of orders placed by sending people is there anything I can do to make your day message? How did that happen? Just by being present. Okay. It's huge. The other piece of the puzzle is this, and this is where I was going with that story about my friend. Her name's Barbie. You guys don't know her, but the story about that is, if you're looking to recruit new people, how many of you guys would like to recruit new people? Or maybe just generate some more great customers, right? Where do you go to find them? And I'm here to tell you the best place to look for great customers or for great recruits is from customers. It's the best place. They're using your products and they love them. What do people do when they love a product? They tell people about them. They always do. People always talk about things they love, which means that your customers are already talking to friends and family about BeautyCounter, right? They're not afraid because they have nothing to lose, right? They're just sharing something awesome. Did you guys know that 90% now, I've been saying 84% for years, but they just redid the study. 90% of people say they make purchasing decisions based on the recommendation of a friend or family member. Isn't that interesting? 90% of the purchasing decisions. It's a bummer to be in advertising these days, isn't it? People want to talk to a friend. So here's the thing: your customers are already making that recommendation to their friends and family. The question is, are you getting the orders? Are you getting the new team builders? Probably not. And so you got to be in touch with those customers. You got to be in regular contact because you need a relationship with them. I can't go to Meghan and go, hey, Meghan, can you introduce me to your friends and family who are interested in BeautyCounter if I never talked to her? Does it make sense? Disingenuous, not genuine. But if I'm in regular contact and I'm connecting with her and we're building a relationship, and then I can say, Meghan, I know you've been loving the products. She's like, yeah, I've been loving them. They've been great. And I just wanted to reach out because I'm sure you've talked to friends or family about BeautyCounter. And before I get too busy this month, I wanted to take care of your people first because you're my favorite. So is there anybody that needs more info about BeautyCounter before I fill up my calendar? Just let me know. Is there anyone you've been talking to? She's like, oh, yeah. Well, actually, I talked to my friend Heather about it yesterday and she was kind of curious. Perfect. Would you mind introducing me to Heather? And I'll get her some more info. Whatever's easiest for you, Meghan, just a group chat or a group text. Just a quick intro and I'll get her more info. You know, I'll take good care of her. Do you guys see? Did you guys get that? Some of you are like, I need to rewind the tape. It's really simple. When you get intentional about it, when you build relationships with your customers, you can multiply them. They will bring you people. They will be the best source of recruiting and the best source of new customers, the customers you already have. Does this make sense? And it's funny because for years, I worked with real estate people. Did any of you guys ever do real estate? or have you bought a house? Maybe you get the idea. I worked with real estate people. And so they would say, I don't ask them to introduce me to, refer me to other people until I've done a great job and finished the transaction. I said, well, that's crazy. When they're in the process of buying a house, that's all they think about. All they think about and all they talk about is buying a house, the houses they looked at, the blah, 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 right? And so every conversation they're having is about real estate. You need to be asking them to introduce you to people at the very beginning while they're constantly talking about it. And this is the same for you guys. They're using the products, they're loving them. This is when you want them introducing to people. Make sense? Sometimes it's when they're so excited about the order they haven't even received yet. They're like super fired up. It's like, great, do you know anybody else who might be interested? Because they're excited. But customers are key to this business. Okay, I think I overmade my point. You guys get the point? Okay, great. I can see people going to make their sandwiches. So I'm going to work my way down my customer list, sending the connect messages just the exact same way, logging them. And when this circle turns all the way pink, I'm done with customers for the day. And I go to consultants and I start connecting with consultants. This is my team, right? Some of you, does anyone have a small team? If you have a small team, smallish team, this will be easy. But imagine what it'll be like when your team is big. You need the system to manage it. It's important to stay in regular contact with your consultants because the biggest thing that people don't like to talk about, like you go to conventions and stuff, they always talk about recruiting and selling. Do they ever talk about retention of consultants? Because you work so hard to get them and then they quit left and right, right? I'm going to eat a cough drop. Hope it doesn't bother you guys. I'm losing my voice. Retention is as important as recruiting. And the number one way to retain is to build a relationship. Just like you guys raised your hand and said you love the team, that's what makes people stick around. They feel connected to you. They feel connected to the team. In fact, it's so funny because we just launched for the first time after 5 years. We just launched a specific training class for leadership, how to teach people how to be leaders, it's in registration right now. I'm excited for it. It's called Teamzy Lead. The bottom line is that we have to keep people and we do it by building relationships. So that's why the third column in your power hour is reaching out to your team and just saying, hey, now look, when your team is all successfully using Teamzy, which is what's going to happen for Meghan, you can just say, hey, Renee, you came up on Teamzy today. How's it going? Right? So they know you're prioritized and that you're coming up in their team. It's fine. The point is it reminds you to stay in touch. How many of you have thought, I'm in touch with that person? And then when you go look, you're like, oh, it was like 6 months ago. So this reminds you to stay in touch and to be intentional about touching them. So the first half of your power hour, prospects, customers, consultants, message them, just send the outgoing messages. Now, quick tip on this, as people are responding, don't run off and have a conversation yet. Get done with your power hour first. Okay, get all your messages out first. It's okay. People know sometimes you'll message and then you can't respond right away because something happens, right? Okay, the second half of the power hour is follow-ups. So I don't have any follow-ups scheduled, but I will set a follow-up after I do a share. Does this make sense? So I'm just having conversations. You're cycling through. You'll cycle through this. Let's say you're 4 stars. You'll cycle through my prospect list every 60 days. And we're having conversations. We're connecting. When that conversation gets to a point where I share, now I'm putting you on my follow-ups list because we're not just staying in touch. Now I need to follow up professionally. Make sense? Because we were chatting about our kids before. Now I'm following up professionally on interest that you've shown in BeautyCounter. You can set a follow-up for any reason you want. If you have a specific date you want to follow up on somebody, you can put it in there. But that's what I built it for, was to follow up on shares. So let me just show you how this works real quick. Let's get a little cough drop in there. Okay. So Megan's my guinea pig. I messaged her, hey, little make her day message. She responds, it's been a while. Oh my gosh. Great to hear from you. So now I have a chance to have a conversation with her. And people always say to me, oh my gosh, Eric, how do I have a conversation via Messenger or something? Just pretend you're in person. Ask them what's going on with them. Okay. Now I'm going to give you guys a little secret phrase that works incredibly well. My phrases are so simple, but they work really well. So if you're like, hi, great to hear from you, and it fizzles out, this works to get the conversation going. You just say, what have you been up to? Send me an update. What have you been up to? Just send me an update. right? Or however you would say that. Last week I would have said, how was your Easter? Send me an update. How have you been? It's been 20 years since I messaged you. What do you, send me an update on your life. I mean, right? And people will, the thing about that is there's a lot of psychology behind it. I won't get into it. I want to, but I won't, because I've already gone over my time. The point is that people understand what to do and they'll respond. So now Meghan is going to go, because it actually has been a couple of years since we've chatted. So there's a lot she could tell me. Here's what we're doing. Like, oh my gosh, I got to speak at national convention. How cool is that? Wow, that's cool. So she's telling me stuff, right? And so I'm asking questions to keep her sharing. Talk about kids. Okay, great. So just a chit chat as if you were in person. Now, be interested in them. Ask them lots of questions, but don't be weird. Just have a normal conversation. Keep it light. By the way, if you Google like questions to ask to get people engaged, like all those questions are terrible that you get on Google. Like if you were on a desert island, what music would you bring? If you could only bring one record, like those are the weirdest questions. If you ask me that, I'd be like, you're weird. I gotta go. Does it make sense? Ask them, what have your kids been up to? What are you doing? Are you working? Where do you work? Do you like your job? Normal stuff. Okay. What happens when she's told me her update? What does she expect from me? She expects me to give her an update. You see where I'm going with this? She expects me to give her an update. This is normal. It'd be weird if I didn't. It's called the law of reciprocation. She now wants to know what I've been up to. What about you guys? What have you been up to? So here's what I want you guys to understand. Your BeautyCounter business is just a natural part of your update. Okay. So, we bought our dream home a couple of years ago, which has been amazing. It was perfect timing because, with the lockdown, it was great to have a nice place to be, and the kids are growing big, and my two middle kids got braces yesterday. So my son is in his room moaning that it hurts, and my daughter's running around FaceTiming all her friends to show them off. And, so I'm catching this. This is true. This is a true story. This stuff I'm telling you right now, right? We're catching up. Oh, did I tell you I started a home-based business too? It's been incredible. Especially with the lockdowns and the pandemic, it's been great to be able to focus on something that brings positive income into the house. And it's an amazing company. Have you ever heard of them? They're called BeautyCounter. Yeah, it's been really cool. It's been a great, I'm finding I'm really passionate about it, helping people build it. And it's just been great. Now, what is she going to say to me? Oh, are you one of those network marketing people? I got to go. No, she's going to say, wow, that's great. Great, Eric. Good for you. That's great. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? It's just a natural part of your update. It's not a big deal. You tell them what you're doing, but here's the key. Write this down. Tell them what you do and why you're passionate about it. Because no one's excited for you if you're not passionate about it. What you do and why you're passionate about it. And their response will be, wow, good for you. That's great. With me? And then people are like, then what do I do? Oh my gosh. And I get messages, people go, it worked. Now what? Just ask them. Well, yeah, it has been amazing. And Meghan, if you ever want, if you'd ever like to learn more about it, just let me know. Okay. That's how people who hate getting rejected throw it out there. That's me. If you'd ever like to learn more about it, just let me know. Now, if you're the more direct type person, you just say, would you like to learn more about it? Okay. Either way, it works, because what happens is a lot of times we don't say that. And then they think, what's wrong with me? She didn't want to share it with me. She's passionate about helping people, but she didn't want to share it with me. That's weird. Does that make sense? That happens. So, yeah, let me know if you'd ever like to learn more about it, or if you know anybody, and I always say, or if you know anybody who needs this. And she says, oh yeah, it sounds really cool. Actually, I might be interested in taking a look at that. Okay, perfect. Well, we're messaging, right? So now I'll say, hey, well, the best thing to do would probably just jump on a Zoom or a FaceTime. Can you jump? Let's get off chat. Can you jump on a Zoom real quick? I'll send you a link. And a lot of times they'll say, yeah, great. Now we can have a conversation about them. And here's what you do on that conversation, you guys. Oh, I know I'm over time, Meghan. Is it okay? You want me to keep going? Okay. On the conversation, you just ask them a bunch of questions. So Meghan, what's going on with you? Like, what you said you wanted some more information. What did I tell you about that was most interesting? Or where, oh, well, I liked, this or that. I've been looking for a new product line that's clean. Oh, okay, great. Well, why? What do you want the product line to do? Do you have any things going on? Do you have any challenges? Like, ask a bunch of questions so you really know what they're looking for. Does this make sense? It's called prescriptive selling. It's called prescriptive selling. It should be the only way sales are done, because the thing is that we have all the information. The internet means we have all the information. So salespeople don't control information. Salespeople have to be a trusted advisor. They have to help people solve the problem. Make sense? So, oh, you're an expert at this. Here's my problem. Do you have anything that can help me? Oh yeah, totally. So ask a bunch of questions, find out what's going on. Here's another little sales tip for non-salesy people is, after you've asked a bunch of questions and you've thought about it, you just say something like, you know what, Megan, I think I can help you with this. I can help you with this. There's something psychological about that. Like, you can, yeah. And here's what I recommend. Here's the regimen I think you should order. Does this make sense? Now I'm going to put her, she's going to go, oh my gosh, this is great. Perfect. I tell you what, I'm going to send you an email right now, follow-up email that has everything we just talked about and the links to purchase. Okay. I'll send those over to you right now. And then she's like, perfect. I can't wait. Okay, great. And I'll check in with you tomorrow and see if you have any questions. Sound good? Perfect. Now, what I just did there was I told her I would follow up tomorrow to see if she has any questions, because she told me she's going to buy right now. Have you ever had somebody tell you they're going to buy right now and they don't? Yeah, 80% of people who say they're going to buy right now don't. It's not, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just the way people are wired. Now I know that, which is why I told her I'm going to follow up. I'm assuming she won't buy and I will need to follow up with her. So first off, I'm going to log this share that we had. We had a great conversation. It was awesome, exciting. I'm going to share it. I'm going to log it as a share and I'm going to put her on my follow-ups list. So first off, she's not on my dashboard anymore. So I just use this little lookup bar at the top to look her up. Okay. That brings me to her contact record. So now I have like all of our contacts that we've done. Everything's logged here. I'm going to open up that connect box and I'm going to put all of my notes from our Zoom, and I'm going to, what type of conversation was it? Here it is. What is that called? A video chat. Okay, great. And then see right here, it says share. So I'm going to click on that because now it's a share. So let's say it was a product share. Great. And it automatically turns on the follow-up right here. Now it defaults to 2 days, but I'm going to change it to tomorrow. And then when I log this connect, it adds a follow-up for tomorrow on her record. So you can see where it logged that I shared products. You see that on a video chat, which is pretty cool. Now, if I go to the dashboard, check this out. Now you can see I've got a share logged, 1 out of 3 today. And if I go to my follow-ups list, there's Meghan due tomorrow. Okay. So tomorrow when I do my power hour, I connect with prospects, customers, consultants, and then I go see, do I have any follow-ups due? Yeah, I have one due with Meghan. Let me show you how to do it. It's just like sending a connect. You can go to scripts and get a follow-up script. Here it is, follow-up number 1. Here's how it reads. It says, hi, Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Now, remember I promised I'd follow up, and now I'm doing it. What does that mean? It means I'm showing her, I'm demonstrating I'm trustworthy. Make sense? I keep my promises. So I'm going to copy that script and I'll just show you guys how easy this is really quick. I'm going to talk to you real quick about follow-ups, the power of it, and then we'll do Q&A because I know I'm over my time. So again, now some people don't like to put the first name in the messages. Every time you initiate a new chat with somebody, use their first name. Okay. This is like the postcard. If you say, hey, sweetie, or hey, girly, and you don't use their name, it feels like, oh, this might've been sent to 100 people. Does that make sense? So that's why I always think you should use that first name every time you initiate a chat to let them know, like, I'm starting a new conversation with you. Make sense? Okay. So there it is. I'm going to quickly go send her this message. And now I got to slide this up a little because I can't see it. There it is. Okay. There it is. Pasted it in, sent it. So now I've sent her the follow-up message. Okay. So I log this in Teamzy. And when I click on that, Teamzy says, okay, does that check off your follow-up? Yes. So I'm going to add another follow-up. So let's say I'm going to follow up with her now next Monday. Great. Okay. You can leave yourself a note about the follow-up if you want. And when I create that and complete it, it completes today's follow-up. And now there she is on my follow-ups list due for Monday. Does it make sense? So prospects, customers, consultants, follow-ups, that's your power hour. The second half of your power hour is the follow-ups. Now, this is the important part. You do all this connecting with people, staying in touch with people, sharing with people, and then we drop them through the cracks on the follow-up. I want you guys to understand something. 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Now, let's just be honest. Do any of you worry that 10 follow-ups you would be a stalker, creep, weirdo? Yeah. Annoying. There's a way to do it so you're not. So I'm going to teach you how to do it really quick without being annoying. This works, you guys. I'm telling you right now, it works. It works. People will understand you're following up because you care. And you said you would. That's where I want you to come from. In fact, just kind of shift your mindset on this. I'm going to teach you the 2 principles for not being annoying, but I want you guys to shift your mindset on this. How many of you really believe in your products, believe you can change people's lives and help people? Okay, good. But you realize that at this moment in the conversation, she hasn't bought them. So they're not going to help her, right? She hasn't joined the team, so the business isn't going to help her. The only way I can help her is by following up. Like I said, I would. So I want you to think of this. This is my philosophy. Following up is an act of love. Following up is an act of love. It's not an annoying thing. I'm not trying to get something from her. I'm trying to help her. Does this make sense? And I used to, every once in a while I have somebody who's like, you just want to make a sale. And I'm like, look, I'll be honest with you. I am grateful for every sale I make because, I make a living on it. But, Meghan, this package that you're about to purchase, my commission will be about $40. Like, though I'm grateful for that commission, it's not going to change my life. The reason why I'm really staying after you about this is because I believe it might change yours. Does that make sense? So just having that confidence to be like, this is where I'm coming from. I want to help people. Does it make sense? So keep connecting, keep following up, you keep them on that follow-up list. And what you do is every time you send them a message, you just schedule the next one. You don't have to do it every day. I mean, you don't want to be annoying, but schedule the next one a few days out or a week out or whatever you're comfortable with, but keep them on the follow-up list. Keep following up with them. Remember, you're going to have to get to 7 to 10 for most people before they purchase or even respond. In many cases, I'd say you get to 6 before they even respond. Have you guys had people not even respond to messages? Okay, so that's normal too. And it doesn't mean they don't like you. It doesn't mean that they think you're a jerk or that they think that it's too expensive or whatever you think it might have been. It just means their life is happening. And like, you message them and they see the message. Oh, that's nice. And then, the dog runs in, throws up on the baby. Next time they're driving their car, next time, whatever, their life's happening. They mean to respond. In fact, most people won't even open the message because they mean to respond later. You guys do that? So then you'll be like, she's not even opening my messages. She's getting them though. How many unopened messages have you actually not seen? We're obsessed with looking at the messages, right? Okay, so here's my principles for not being annoying. First off, don't ever ask them to do anything when you send a follow-up message. Don't ask them to do anything. They don't have to respond. Don't ask them to respond. Don't ask them to call. Don't ask them to whatever, right? Make sense? You're just being present. The second thing, and just a little side note on this, I see people do this all the time. They start getting frustrated that they're not responding and they say, just tell me if you're interested or not. Guess what my answer is now? Not interested, right? So fight that impulse. When you get to that place, fight that impulse. Keep sending these loving messages. So first principle, don't ask them anything. Second principle, keep your message short and sweet so they can read the whole thing without opening it. They need to be able to read the whole thing without opening it because we already talked about how they won't open it most of the time, but they do want to see what it says. So every time they see your message, they're getting this little shot of hope, right? They're reconnecting to the great conversation you had. And they're remembering how much you care about them. And this is like, there's a lot to this, but it's like you're reprogramming their subconscious slowly to get over the resistance to change. So that's why it takes so many. follow-ups before people really get into it, because subconsciously they're kind of struggling against it. So when you're just connecting with them and sending these little messages, it's like they see them and they'll get to a point where they respond and they say, I'm so sorry I didn't respond. My life's been so hectic. Thank you so much for staying in touch. And I have to tell you guys, people comment to me all the time. You're right. People actually thank me for following up that much. Can't believe it. If you do it with the right heart and you do it the right way without being too pushy and annoying, just stay present with them. It works like clockwork. And so every single day, 5 days a week, you get in here and you do your power hour on Teamzy. You connect with people as you have conversations, you share with them, you put them on the follow-ups list. And then if you do that consistently, after a few weeks, you'll start getting shares more consistently. It might take you a couple of weeks to get the shares going because you're just starting conversations. Once you start getting to the point where you're filling up that if you're doing your 3 shares a day, let's say, like you're connecting with people, that's like putting 5 people, doing 3 shares a day. That's 15 people on the follow-ups list at the end of the week. So you're doing follow-ups now. The second half of your power, you're just sending follow-up messages. Every single month, people on that follow-up list will convert. You'll be surprised who it is. Sometimes it's somebody who's been there for months. Sometimes it's a new person. But every month, people on that follow-up list convert. This is how you have that steady growth of the business. Make sense? And then as Megan had said at the beginning of the call, when you bring new people on, you show them the tool, you show them the system. Here's the system. Here's how it works. It's easy to do. You'll know exactly what to do. Take the mystery out of it. And we get to build the business this way. You guys with me? Okay, so last thing I'll show you, actually, I probably showed you enough. We'll do a Q&A. You guys can ask questions if there's something that you want to see that I didn't show you. But real quick, oh wait, I don't want that. Real quick before we do it, let me give you some action steps. So I keep sharing the wrong screen. I'm too excited. Where'd it go? This is it. Action steps. One of these slides, here we go. So if you're not already using Teamzy, go to teamzy.com, start a 14-day free trial. At this point, it should be a no-brainer that you want to try it out. Okay, if you're already in a free trial, set up your subscription. You can set up your subscription at any time and you won't actually get billed until the free time is up. But this way you won't miss a beat when it's over. We're having a special right now for BeautyCounter. So it's a really great opportunity. Teamzy is $29.99, so about just under $30 a month for access to Teamzy. So it's about $1 a day to have it plan everything, which is amazing, right? But right now we're having a special price for BeautyCounter. It's actually $19.95 a month, so it's a third off. And you can lock that rate in permanently if you guys set up a subscription. So it's a pretty cool deal. And then if you're like become a real Teamzy gung-ho love it, like Meghan, and you want to you can actually do annual subscriptions and save a couple of months off that way too. So you can do 12 months at a time, save some money. But definitely check out the 14-day trial and get ready to subscribe so you can lock in that price. My next action step is to get a success partner or 2 to work with the next month on Teamzy. So look around, there's a few people on the call, and I know there's going to be more coming in on the recording. Just say, hey, you want to do it? Let's do it together. Groups of 3 actually work amazing, but 2 is fine too. And say, let's do this together. Let's hold each other accountable. What you do is every day when you're done with your Teamzy Power Hour, you screenshot it and send it off to your partner or partners, which is incredibly annoying if they haven't done their Power Hour yet, but motivating, right? And so the idea here is rather than just signing up for a free trial and tooling around and going, oh, it looks pretty, there's pink, we want you to actually crank this month, right? A lot of times the free trial period is when people have the best month they've ever had in the business, especially works with accountability partners. And the last action step, 5-day challenge. I challenge you guys to use Teamzy for 5 days in a row. Could you do that? 5 days in a row, doing a power hour, sending messages. I want you to send 100 messages in 5 days, so 20 a day. Just sending messages. That's what I mean by connect with 100 people. The reason why I want you to do this is because if you send 100 messages in 5 days, over 5 days, I should say, over 5 days, it will completely blow your mind. What you're able to accomplish, I mean, the amount of conversations you start, you might be a little overwhelmed, honestly, but I want you to experience it because there are times where you will tell yourself things and believe them. Things like, I've already gone through my warm market, so what do I do? Or it's a slow time, or right? The economy sucks. And you'll get yourself believing these stories. And if you take a 5-day challenge, you'll never be able to believe those stories again because you'll know what could happen if you just go after it for 5 days. Does this make sense? Who's up for that? Try it out. Prove me wrong. Try it out. Prove me wrong. I will tell you this, and I will take questions now if you guys have questions. But when I first got Teamzy, the first day I got it, I was the only person in the world who had it. I put my Facebook friends in there, which I thought was amazing that I can import my Facebook friends into Teamzy. And I started messaging people, and I planned to message 10 people, and I got so into it, I sent 43 messages. Megan, have you ever done that many in one day? Yeah. So can you guys imagine what the rest of my week was like? They all responded. 100% response. I had 43 chats going in Messenger. It was crazy. It was nuts. That incidentally though, that was November, which is the slow month in our business, right? Supposedly. And that was the month I got the letter from the CEO of that company, from 1 power hour, really. But so it's kind of crazy. So it was overwhelming. I understood at that point not to do that many in one day because it was more than I could do. So now it's like just consistent over time so you can manage it. But hopefully that's encouraging to you guys. Okay, if you guys have questions, go ahead and just unmute and ask away.
I was just going to say, Eric, that when I have like an incentive trip or I'm wanting to go for some kind of goal, like I tell my team the same thing. I'm like, double your numbers. Like just, maybe 3 months, double your numbers, have a bit of an intense period, and then go back to your like normal, consistent work. Like if you want to achieve a bigger goal, and that's what I do, and kind of my secret weapon, really. Yeah,
we call them sprints, right? And so, you can do those as a team. You can do a 30-day sprint where everybody goes crazy for a time. And those actually work really great. It's one of the things we actually talk about in our lead program, which is the rank up sprints as a team, doing rank up sprints. Because a lot of times it's like, you can't always run like that, but if everybody's running together, it's fun.
Okay, I have a question. So do you recommend importing your whole Facebook? I mean, that just seems like a ton of people to work through that. Do you delete them? I guess there was like a silence option or something, like don't ever talk to this person or not.
Yeah, I mean, what you want to do is, I mean, I would personally bring them all in and then go through my list and clean it up.
Okay.
And so I had, like, when I was doing it, I had like 4,000 Facebook friends at that time. And it was a lot. But see, what you want to do is once you get them in, then you want to go through and do the rankings, right? So let me just show you real quick.
And then like customers, because I'm not friends with all of my customers. So how do you, like, should I be friends with all my customers on Facebook? I don't know.
I would try to connect with them on social media because they respond better there than email, for example. So when you get a customer and say, hey, let's connect, and I would try to connect with them there because, like I said, they respond better. Nope, you're gonna connect with them with the best communication you have. So if you have a phone number, you can send them a text. If you only have an email, then you only have an email. But email response rates are super low, right?
And social media is better than texting.
Facebook Messenger gets a better response rate than texting. The texting would be the next best.
Okay.
Yeah. The other benefit to doing it on social media is especially now that Instagram and Facebook Messenger is combined, so it helps both, is when you connect with them on Messenger, they're going to, in almost every case, go look at your social profiles. So okay. It drives them to your social profiles because they're curious before they respond, they're curious to see what you're up to. It's just like a normal impulse. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is when they respond, now Facebook considers you very relevant to them, and they're going to see your posts and your stories more. Okay. So people are always like, how do we get on that? How do we beat the Facebook algorithm? Well, Facebook's algorithm has always favored personal interactions. So Messenger is the #1 way to improve your visibility with people. So man, after doing a year of Teamzy, people are like constantly seeing your videos. What'll happen is, Megan, this probably happens to you when you reach out, they're like, oh, I saw your video yesterday, or I saw you were doing this, or I saw your story. Like it starts happening more and more and more because Facebook and Instagram say this person's really relevant because every time that she messages them, they talk back to her. So they like her, so we're going to show more of their stuff. So it all kind of feeds together. But okay, going back to your actual question, let me just show you this real quick. So I'm on the team page in Teamzy, which is like the whole list, everybody, right? So these little 3 dots right here are some different sorts. So I can do rank mode. See this little rank mode? And that turns on the rank for everybody. So now what I can do is I can scroll my list, and when I see somebody that I want to be a 4-star or a 5-star, I just rank them up. Now, most people I won't touch. I'll leave them at 3 stars. 3 stars is kind of like where an acquaintance lies, right? So most people I won't touch. So it's like cherry picking, so that you start with your best people. So what I mean by this is, let's say you have 5,000 Facebook friends. You might go through here and promote 100 of them. So those are the people that you know the best, that you're going to be talking to first and more often. And then you'll work your way down that Facebook list over time. Like they're going to come in, some of them are going to come into the thing and you're going to message them, and they only come up every 3 months. So over a year, you'll work your way through that list. But what's amazing is, and some people you'll see and you'll be like, oh no, delete, trash can, which is fine too. But over time, it's like you've already met these people, and they already have some, especially if you're actively posting on social media, they feel like they know you. You'll be surprised when you're like, I don't even know if I know that person. Like, I don't remember that person, but I'll just send them one of these scripts and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I just saw your video yesterday and I've been meaning to message you. And you're like, really? Like that starts happening, which kind of blows your mind, because you're like, how do you know me? I don't even remember who you are when I looked at your picture. That happens sometimes. Sometimes somebody will go, how do I know you? When you message them, which is fine too. And you go, I was thinking the same thing, but I figured I'd say hi since we're Facebook friends, or since we're on Instagram together, or whatever. Does this make sense? And so it just builds rapport. But a lot of people will spend a lot of time trying to, and there's, depending on who you are and who you've accepted friend requests from, there may be a lot of people you want to delete. When you see them in Teamzy, it may make you realize you want to unfriend them on Facebook. And a lot of people took junk friendships, right, in the past. And so it helps you clean those out too when you go through and find them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And then one other question, is there a code for the $19.95, or how does that,
No.
You'll just know, like the BeautyCounter one that.
Yep, it's active right now. So when you go in there and get your free trial, it's already set up for setting you up for the discounted subscription.
Well, that's so nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just switch mine to annual. I'm like, why am I paying monthly? I know I'm gonna be using this all year long.
And we got you to the discount too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's $100 a year you saved.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. $100 a year saved and a free training for the team. What is happening? I'm giving away the whole store.
Good day. Yeah. Thank you.
Giving away the whole store. It's the least we could do. We appreciate your support. Does anyone else have any questions or even just an aha they want to share with everyone?
Oh, sorry, me again. One more question. With prospects, do you consider a prospect just anyone you meet and pop them in there? Yeah. Okay.
I look at it like this. There's my consultants, there's my customers, and everyone else on the planet is my prospect.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, the exception would be there's somebody else's customer already, or there's somebody else's team already, but pretty much when I'm meeting them, they're a prospect. That's where I would connect with them.
You get some kind of connection with a new person, put them in. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just wanted to make sure.
But going back to what I said at the beginning, you may have people that are like, I'm not interested in this product, but I would still connect with them regularly, because those people would still introduce people to my business. Oh, oh, you know what? You need that? Oh, I have a friend who does this. I'm going to connect you. It's like, just to kind of give you guys a quick example. Let's say I'm an electrician, right? Does anyone have a need for an electrician right now? Does anyone have an electrical problem that they need solved? Probably not. But it's good to know a good electrician, because at some point you will need it, right? And other people need it. And so I would want everyone to know that I'm an electrician and that I'm passionate about solving people's electrical problems, because then what happens, and I talk to Meghan, I go, I do I'm an electrician. Oh, that's great. Good for you, Eric. Yeah. Do you need anything? She's like, no. Great. Well, if you have a friend or family who needs help with electrical stuff, I'm your guy. Okay, great. So she's like do I stop staying in touch with her because she said no, she doesn't need what I have? No, I'm going to stay in touch with her, checking in with her, because what happens is when Heather suddenly has, all the lights go out in her house, Megan's like, you need to call Eric Johnson. He's an electrician. He's such a great guy. He stays in touch with me. We're friends. I saw what he was, playing with his puppy at the park the other day, because, they start seeing your stuff. So it's like people will introduce you to people even when they say no. So stay in touch with them and just, message them every few months, a quick message. You'd be amazed how much business grows that way. All right. Final thoughts. Anyone have a final thought before I send you on your way? Because I'm way past my time here.
Eric, I just had a quick question. And I popped on really late, so this could have been answered early on. So if so, I apologize. Thanks for doing this training, by the way. It's
my pleasure.
I'm already learning a lot. What is the difference between Teamzy and Project Broadcast?
I don't know Project Broadcast.
Okay. I think
Megan,
it's
do you know the answer to
similar
that?
system.
I speak to that because I use both. Project Broadcast, it's basically a text message system.
Okay.
That you can download all your contacts in, and so you can do bulk messages to people,
Right.
but you can personalize it. So I use it in conjunction with Teamzy, because if I have a group of people that I want to send the same text to, I can actually do it in Project Broadcast.
Yeah.
But I can customize their first name, blah, blah, blah. But it's a text message, but it's not a follow-up system. Like, it's not going to tell you.
Right.
It's basically a tool to be able to contact people.
Right.
Whereas Teamzy telling you who to contact and when, Project Broadcast doesn't do that. It's a completely
It's like a
different
blast
thing.
message thing.
Yeah.
And those,
So two different.
So there you go, Mackenzie. It's a little bit different.
Perfect.
So blast messaging has value, but it's a tiny amount compared to building relationships individually as far as return on investment. So people always ask me, like, how come Teamzy doesn't do blast emails? And I go, I wanted it to do blast emails. I still do. But the reason I don't is because I don't want people buying Teamzy and just doing blast emails and going, why is my business not growing? So, like I did, when I was building my business, my network marketing business, I always used blast emails where I did like a newsletter and I did stuff, but I was still connecting with people individually. It all works together. But if you only had to do one thing, the connecting individually is the most important. And then you layer on other things, right? So 86% of business comes either by introduction or repeat. So that's building relationships. And then, so 85% of your energy needs to be in building relationships one-on-one. Then 15% of your energy you can do in every other kind of little marketing thing that you want to try. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Thank you. That's helpful.
I'll use
hopefully that helps.
Project Broadcast, say, to message something to my team that's really, really important that they need to know, like, jump on our team call in 5 minutes, or reminder about whatever. It's just kind of every now and then it's handy, but it's definitely not what I use to grow my business. It's just a good tool. That Teamzy for growing, for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. And we did record this. I will get you the recording, Megan, probably in the morning. I'll get it over to you so you can share it with the rest of the team. But thank you guys for jumping on. Hopefully it was really valuable. I'm excited to thank you, Megan, for being such a supporter of Teamzy. We appreciate you. And Teamzy has grown from that. It has grown from people loving it and sharing it. And that's what I hope for all of you, is that you'll love it and you can message me and say, I love Teamzy. And that's our goal, because we want to help you be successful. So hopefully this was helpful. God bless you guys. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Eric. We appreciate you. Really do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm already signed up
Bye,
for my
everyone.
free